Hi everyone, it's great to see you. I'm out here on the deck and I'm going to do the first round of our bag in the pots for spring. So these are my early spring planters. They will probably only stay like this for about a month. Another month I'll be ready to put petunias and all those wonderful things in here that like the warmer weather. But it is still chilly. You probably can tell by my jacket. Still pretty chilly out here. However, when I looked at the 10-day forecast, we don't have any freezing temperatures. It's going down to about 37, 39 at night, which isn't too bad. So we will take that. Take a look at these beautiful Forsythias. So these are the Proven Winners show-off Forsythias. And a Forsythia is a perennial bush so it comes back every year and it blooms very, very early. It blooms before it gets its foliage with these bright, bright yellow flowers. To me, this is the sign of spring, one of the first signs of spring that you see. So I thought, this would be a really good centerpiece. We always want something dynamic, something a little taller for the center of your bag in the pot. So I thought, oh, and then I can use them year to year. They bloom on last year's growth. So I have a choice. I could let these get quite big, or each year I can trim them down, after they bloom, give them time to grow in a bit, and keep them about the same size year to year, which is sort of my plan. I don't want them to get too out of control, and I will be leaving them in a grow bag. So for my winter planters, I had this adorable evergreen, which I just love, and I still love, but it's wonderful just to be able to lift that right out. And as I look in here in the rim gap, you can see that I have some of my creeping Jenny coming back, which is wonderful. It doesn't look like much now, but it is going to trail over, give that chartreuse green, and I don't have to pay for it again this year. So that's a good thing to have returning. So I'm going to have some space in here around the edge, and I'm thinking of using some of these real bright pink primroses, and then once I'm done this month, I can plant these in the ground. These are also perennials. But I think that the pretty yellow center that these have will just pick up the Forsythia yellow, and oh, it's so much fun. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to repot these into my 5-gallon grow bags. And for two reasons. One, I'm out of potting mix, but also this will give it a little bit extra nutrients. I'm just adding a little bit of worm casting in the bottom and sides to help it fill up here. So worm casting works as a compost that will just give it a little extra food to it. I'm also sprinkling in some biotone because the Forsythia will be putting roots into this. We want them to be able to do that successfully and quickly. So let me just take off the tag here. I want to do it carefully so that I don't lose too many flowers. Maybe I'll cut it afterwards. Okay, now you'll notice that all these little hulls on the top, these are your rice hulls, are going to dump out. They make a mess, but they really are great for keeping the weeds down. Look at those good roots. It comes right up to the top here. We're not going to worry if it makes a mess because I can always go in and just make sure that we clean up the deck afterwards. I'm going to add a little bit of this around the edge. I'm actually going to leave this a little on the loose side so it's easy to get in and out. I can always come back and add some dirt once it's in. And then once it's in, you just want to make sure you tuck your handles down here. And I'll come back and fill that in a little bit more as needed. And then I'm going to see the level of this needs to be topped up just a bit, but we don't have that much space. So I'll add a few handfuls of the worm castings, which I'm getting everywhere, but that's okay. Okay. This looks good. Now the tricky part is not disrupting what I want to still have alive in here, but making space for these primroses. So I'm just gonna dig out a little and we'll tuck it into the center since that needs some potting mix anyway. There we go. We'll shake that off. Primroses do really, really well in cool weather because remember, they can overwinter. I want them to be high enough up that you can see them peeking over the top here. Oh, I like that. That's very good. And I have a little extra potting mix in the bottom. I'll just add that in there. We don't want to waste anything. And we'll go on to the next one. Now your primroses typically come in this bright pink. You might also see them in a light pink. I frequently see them in yellow, a dark purple, white. And I want to say those are usually your main colors. Here's a solid yellow one that somehow snuck in, but it looks very cute. So we will just leave it like that. These are not rooted very deeply, which since I'm just planting up the edge here is actually making it easier for me. A lot of things this time of year have just been potted up to their larger size. So we see that a lot. Don't worry about it. They will put on plenty of roots. Oh, I like how they looked when I stepped back. Okay, let's cut this off. Now there are different types of Forsythia that you could use for your center here. There is a dwarf variety, which is in the show off line. I think it's called show off. Ooh, I'll have to look it up for you. That only gets like 3 feet tall total. So something like that would be fine. I even considered putting in a dwarf lilac. I think that would be so pretty too. That would work great, and then you'd lift it out later. But lilacs here don't bloom until a little later, and I was ready for something right now that was going to be in bloom. But certainly any of those centerpieces work, and you know that I put the hydrangea in there, of course, later, which I love. Now, I did a hydrangea check yesterday, and they are starting to come back to life and just looking so good. Can't wait to share that with you. So once this is done, probably mid-May, I'll be taking this out, putting a hydrangea in the center here, which will work out perfectly for me. Look at how bright and pretty. This just looks like spring. Now, here we have some more of the creeping Jenny, so I'm going to sort of carefully dig around it. That is the only thing. When you're coming back the next year and you have things that are coming awake in your pot, you sort of have to work carefully around it. But it is doable. That looks great. Now I have a little clump of creeping Jenny here, so I'm just going to dig behind it. There'll be like a little space here, but that is okay. I'll choose a pretty full flower to put in. I think 2 more should do it. Maybe only 1 more because we have a lot of creeping Jenny back there. I do like it to circle all the way around back. However, if you know that nobody can see the back of your pot, this one can be seen because people can go down into the yard and look back up. You could just skip putting them in the back. Oh, love this, love this. Okay, let's see how it looks. Okay, Dan gives it's very colorful nod of approval. I think I can fit 1 more in though. We might as well give it a try. Have it looked really packed. These are not going to put on a lot of growth. It is not super warm yet. They're not going to be there that long. So you can pack these in pretty tightly and that will be fine. Oh, look at that. That is just so pretty. I can see peeking out from inside and seeing the happy pink and yellow. Okay, we're going to move over here and we're going to do the same thing in the other one. Here we are over at the next bag in a pot, and it's a little different. You will notice that green penguin, a Scots pine, was the centerpiece, and it was just in a 1-gallon pot through the winter. So that didn't take up my whole interior pot here. Instead, I had stuffed in some packing here just to keep it still and from tipping over. So we're going to take that out. Oh yeah, it's nice and damp and messy. Lovely. We'll throw that away. Oh, and I used a little container at the bottom to bring it up. What else did I put in here? Oh my, we even have some dirt and leaves. We'll get rid of that. Okay, good enough. Yuck. I started another grow bag here for my next Forsythia. So just like before, I am going to get this one potted up for my nice bright yellow centerpiece. Always be prepared when you are tipping these things out that usually you make a mess. There's just no way around it. And I didn't put in my fertilizer. So this is the Biotone starter fertilizer, and I tend to sprinkle some of this in whenever I'm planting something for the first time. It gives them the extra, they call them mycorrhizae, I believe, that are in there that help the roots to get a real strong foundation when you're beginning. And we'll put in a little of this, and like the other one, I'll add some of the potting mix from our flowers that are going to ring around it as we go. Now, I have my obelisk here, which I love, and I love the lights on it, so I'm going to sneak this in and pray while I do it. Will it fit? Yes. Okay, sorry, we lost some flowers, but not too many. That's good. You just want to make sure you sort of straighten this so it's looking its best, and then you can tuck in your handles. I'll still need to cut the tag off, but that will be fine. If you see the bag a bit like this, don't worry about it. Your flowers around the edge will fill in before you know it. Now I need to keep my little solar panel showing here because the lights on here will come to life because of that. And what I'm going to do here is, this is a matrix purple pansy. Look at how velvety that is. I love those pansies that look velvety, but I chose one with a yellow center to pick up the yellow Forsythia here. I like it when they sort of blend together. These are already getting a little leggy, a little long. If you wanted to, you could probably trim these off, but you know what? I just want the flowers, so I'm not too worried. I'm going to let them stay nice and tall. Let's see. Now this does not seem to have any creeping Jenny coming back, so I don't have to worry about that. And that makes sense because I think in this one I had petunias and lemon coral sedum. Lemon coral sedum usually will not overwinter for us, especially when it's in a planter like this. And I'm just going to turn them so that they're facing out and I can see the really pretty faces of the pansies. I want to see as many flowers as I can. And I'm gonna pack them in here pretty tight. If you give them about a week, you will be surprised at how much they fill in. Always do a before and after picture because it always surprises me, and it's so much fun to see how much they grow and how good they look. You can pat yourself on the back for doing a great job gardening. Okay. There we are. This year I found that some of the pansies came in 4-packs like this. Some were in 6-packs and some were in 4-inch pots. And somehow I managed to get all the different sizes, I think. But that is okay. There we go. This one has a lot of blossoms on it. And I'm just going to sneak that solar panel right in there. No one will even notice. Okay. Oh, this is looking good. I love the contrast of that dark purple and the bright yellow. So doesn't this look like spring? I took my one little leftover primrose and put it there. This is one of my favorite planters. I have a bunch that are like this, nice and tiny. And this is the rose rim. I want to say it's a 6-inch planter from Unique Stone. Oh, so cute. And they just work for everything. You can have a leftover something, put it in there, and it looks perfect. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.